Hello again, everybody. Zack Attack is here with my WWE Raw review for this Monday night, April the 14th, 2014, of course, from Birmingham, Alabama. Well, tonight was a kind of a tribute night to the Ultimate Warrior, of course, who tragically passed away last week. Still weird. It's been a bittersweet week for WWE. You know, a lot of new faces debuted, a lot of new champions were crowned. But the streak ended, and of course, Ultimate Warrior passed away. And I like when they do tribute shows, but like doing tribute shows I've seen, like when they do like the Owen Hart tribute, Eddie Guerrero's tribute, and a guy nobody wants to bury the memory of, unless you watch the WWE Network, plug, Chris Benoit. You see the superstars recollect about the superstar. But I think they didn't do it this time around for the Warrior because no one really wrestled with them, unless you're a Hall of Famer guy. So they just had like a bunch of highlights of his career and also a 10-belt salute with all the superstars out there. You know, one of them is missing. Daniel Bryan and his new bride, Brie Bella. Of course, they're off on the honeymoon. But besides a Warrior tribute, we had an Evolution reunion. I've been seeing the seeds planted for this for the last couple weeks, specifically the last week. And now, it came to fruition tonight. Plus, matches are made for Extreme Rules. We have two matches that are maybe official soon, and two matches that are official. We do know one match that is going to happen at the pay-per-view, an Intercontinental Championship match. But who will face Biggie Langston? Cue up the Intercontinental Championship number one contender tournament. It's kind of apropos that we would start an Intercontinental Championship number one contender tournament on the Warrior Tribute Night, knowing that Ultimate Warrior was a former two-time Intercontinental Champion. Of course, Christian was set to be the number one contender until he got injured. So this tournament was made. The first round was set. We begin with our first match in the first round, which would be RVD in his second match back, taking on El Pato del Rio. Of course, these two had a feud for the World Heavyweight Championship right before RVD left for 6 months. So these two have kind of rekindled their feud. Of course, RVD is a former multi-time IC champion. Alberto's never been an IC champion. And seeing these two wrestle, they had some decent matches. They actually did have some okay matches when these two feuded back in the fall. And pretty intense little matchup to kick off the tournament for the IC championship. It's kind of cool to have this tournament start. You know, it was revealed later on, and I think it's a good move for the IC championship. If only they can do that to kind of revive up interest in the US championship, which has done since fucking Ambrose hasn't defended it in how long? Sorry, I love the Shield, but Ambrose, defend your fucking title. Or retire it. Have like a unification match or something between you and Biggie. Anyway, all of these big flying moves were, of course, out of hand for Del Rio. So, of course, Del Rio's faced off against RVD before. So, Del Rio knows that RVD would get tired. And, of course, focus on the knees. And, of course, the arm. When to set up the cross arm breaker, he then did the backstab around Mr. RVD. And, of course, some big flying kicks, some decent moves from up the top rope. But, of course, it was RVD who would nail the biggest move up the top rope. As Del Rio was going for another big move, he got swept off his feet, set up for the 5-star frog splash and a 1-2-3 victory for Rob Van Dam, advancing into the semifinals. Of course, the winner of the match between the King of Swings, Cesaro, and the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, will face off against Mr. RVD in the semifinals. The semifinals will be next week. But before we would face off, we would see who would face off against the man known as Mr. Monday Night. Of course, we would see a little situation involving, of course, Batista and Orton and Triple H. That would manifest itself, of course, to the Evolution reunion, as seen in my subtitle before. I delve into that a little further. We had another matchup involving Ryback Axel, taking on the Brotherhood, of course, Cody Rhodes and Goldust. Anyway, decent little match, of course. Ryback, so of course the strength of Ryback / Goldberg dominated, taking on Cody, basically beating the crap out of Cody, isolating him and getting the quick tags in and out with Mr. Axel. Of course, Curtis Axel, too bad his dad ain't around anymore because his dad wrestled the Ultimate Warrior. So, it's kind of weird to see that situation. So anyway, as my back was taking care of Cody Rhodes got the big hot tag to Goldust in. Goldust came in for the rescue. But then, of course, he would get kicked out, the crap out of him by Mr. Ryback's team. So Cody Rhodes got the big tag back in, delivered all of his big moves. He was trying to go for Crossroads. He did deliver the disaster kick to Ryback's partner, Mr. Curtis Axel. But as Cody Rhodes was setting up for the disaster kick on Ryback caught him in midair with the meat hook clothesline and a 1-2-3 victory for Ryback. Kind of sending a big message as they were trying to get back in the tag team title hunt. Of course, Ryback beating former tag team champions in an okay little tag team affair. And I think Ryback could get a title shot. Speaking of the tag team champions, we would see them in action soon. Before we see the Usos in action tonight, we would see the new Divas champion in action. Paige would take on Alicia Fox. Now, I know a lot of people are probably disappointed because they probably want further development, as we want to see a further development between this fledgling AJ and Paige feud. Because, of course, AJ lost the Divas Championship last week, and I think a lot of people, like me, expected a great feud between these two building. Well, instead, we got AJ out of the picture this week, as we had Alicia Fox beating the crap out of Paige for a little bit, an okay little Divas affair. And Paige, her debut was kind of interesting last week. She spoke a little, then she just won the title on a wing, being one of a few divas on the list of debuting divas who won the title on the first night. Of course, referring to Gail Kim, when she won the women's title on her first night back in 2003. But that was in a Battle Royal situation. There was a one-on-one situation that Paige won the title. But in her first match as Divas Champion, she tried to get some offense in, but of course Alicia Fox came in with her foxy little defensive moves, beating crap out of Paige in the corner. Paige would come back with a big vicious kick, some vicious clotheslines before she would get the big victory with her little scorpion crosslock, probably one of my favorite submissions besides the Hammerlock and of course AJ's Black Widow. And yes, for her first match, Paige it's only a second match. We need to see more progression, because she was pummeled for half the match. But I was watching, it's like, you need to get beat up. When you get knocked down, you get back up. I think they want to show Paige's resilience. But show more offense, Paige. Show more offense. Because she showed a little bit of offense last week. She would show more offense, more big moves out of Paige as she tries to make her way to having a great reign as Divas Champion. But I think AJ will return next week. Speaking of matches for Extreme Rules, I think these two should face off Extreme Rules. So there you go. Now on with the tag team title holders, the Usos. A lot of people wearing Warrior shirts tonight, or in Usos' case, of course, Usos, one of them wears face paint on one side, the other wears face paint on the other side. Both guys wearing Ultimate Warrior face paint tonight. Great respect. Should have seen more Warrior shirts and more Warrior tributes from the superstars, like more people wearing Warrior shirts. In Usos' case, face paint. So they would take on Randy Orton and Batista as a rematch from last week. Of course, they took them on for the titles, but ended up being a no contest when they fought outside. So I was hoping that we would have a weird ending this week. Well, at least it builds up the whole situation between the Shield and the Authority. Of course, the Shield took care of the Authority and Batista and Orton last week as they tried to take out D-Bry to help Triple H win the championship. Like I said, Shield came in and helped D-Bry at least retain his title for another week and have his most legitimate reign continue. And Triple H said that the Shield were going to prevent you guys from being the champion and try to get the band back together. At first, Batista and Orton rubbed Triple H off. They're like, the Shield's not your problem. Our problem is trying to get the world title back. The Shield's your problem, not ours. What if Shield became their problem? As they would get involved in this next match. The Usos came flying in, being more aggressive, after getting their butts kicked last week in the post-match festivities as they were pummeled by Orton and Batista. So they're trying to get revenge on both these guys as they became aggressive early with the high-flying offense. But then Batista and Orton trying to show that they all together as a team, and of course, like I said, building the seeds for the reunion later on. They would try to double team with the Usos and would beat them up on the outside. But as Batista was taking care of one of the Usos on the outside, beating up on the steps, here come the Shield to beat the crap out of Batista, causing another no contest. But like I said, it heights up this feud. So the Shield wasn't Batista and Orton's problem before. Now their problem now is, like I said, got involved and beat the crap out of them and sent them out of the arena. So Shield Orton Batista feud has begun. And like I said, add one more man in the equation. That one man would be Triple H, as he saw Orton Batista won back following their butts getting handed by the Shield, and he tore them both. I told you so. So of course we would see what go down. Shield would be in the main event tonight, as they would take on, well, we didn't know how many people were going to, I thought it would be 3 more guys. But let's say this, it was more than 3. But I'm not spoiling it yet. Now on our next matchup, our next match in the first round of the Intercontinental Championship #1 Contenders Tournament. Of course, the winner would take on the man known as Mr. Monday Night, Rob Van Dam. Cesaro against Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, of course, the King of Swing. I know it's Cesaro's destiny to be the King of Pain. Too bad they couldn't call him the Sultan of Swing. Ding 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 ding. Dire Straits. I know King of Swing rhymes, but I like Sultan of Swing. But I think King of Swing is cool too. I like both names. Would be cool nicknames, as quoted by the young man. He is the young man. He is the poorest. Cuckoo, choo. Of course, Paul Heyman. Now, since all had no music, we got rid of Zeb Coulter. So we got rid of Zeb Coulter. He got rid of We the People music. So he needs new music. He just came out by Paul Heyman introducing him. No music, no fanfare at all. Where is his new entrance? Unless they need a new theme for him. That's probably why he has no entrance music right now, because they need new music. His old music was cool before he joined Swagger, but I think he needs brand new music. That's why he has no music now. Anyway, Mark Henry trying to be his world's strongest stuff. I thought that Cesaro was gonna. I knew that Cesaro was gonna probably win this, because I think he's my pick to win this damn thing. Is Cesaro, and I knew it was gonna be something big with him and Mark Henry. I thought I was gonna try to do the swing. This is all swing on Mark Henry, but it's better than that. He did the neutralizer on Mark Henry to get the victory. 1, 2, 3 victory. Okay, little matchup. As Mark Henry straight was trying to. It was like the battle of strength, basically, because both these guys are very strong. Mark Henry is the world's strongest man, but Cesaro's probably one of the most tough, pound for pound, toughest and strong guys in WWE. As he lifted Mark Henry. Hey, if he can lift Big Show off the top rope and eliminate him in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, he can lift up with, lift up Mark Henry and get the neutralizer. So, very physical beatdown matchup with Cesaro, getting the victory. And I'm very looking forward to seeing more Cesaro getting big push. Because I think Cesaro's going to win this thing. That's my thing. Cesaro's going to win the IC Championship tournament. And who knows, maybe at least the IC Championship could be a stepping stone for Cesaro's big push. Like, he could win the IC Championship and then go on to not beat, but face Daniel Bryan for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. I would love to see that match. SummerSlam, that would be awesome. It'd be a wrestling clinic. But after that, on with our next little affair. As we had the Ravishing Russian Lana. Of course, you know what that meant. She would bring out the Bulgarian Brutes, the super athlete, Alexandra Rusev, taking on in an easy squash, Xavier Woods, a.k.a. Consequences Creed. All Troop was there watching his little buddy get his butt whipped as we would be trying to fight off his Bulgarian Nightmares. He's got more nicknames than Randy Orton. The super athlete, the Bulgarian Brute, the Bulgarian Nightmare. Damn. Like I said, there's so many nicknames. Like Orton has the Viper, the Apex Predator, And Alexander's got one more nickname more than Orton. Anyway, Xavier did have no chance in hell to be destroyed by Mr. Rusev being put in the accolade and started tapping indeed to the power of Rusev. Now on to our next affair. Another match in the first round of the IC Championship Tournament. We got one bracket in the semifinals complete. Cesaro would take on Mark Henry. Now we need another bracket for the semifinals complete. The first half would be completed when Sheamus took on Jack Swagger. Now my prediction was I was hoping to see a Jack Swagger Cesaro final. Because, you saw Swagger and Cesaro broke up last week at Mania. They had a match last week, never really ended. So I was hoping to see Swagger go on and go on in advance and try to take on Cesaro in the final. It'd be great to see that. Well, instead we get, a victory for Sheamus in this matchup affair, despite Swagger's best efforts to outpower the pale Irishman. I like Sheamus. I like Sheamus, though. But I would have loved to have seen Swagger get the victory in this matchup. He did put the Patriot lock on Sheamus. Sheamus botched a little. Sheamus was doing a move on Swagger in the turnbuckle, but I think he kind of botched. He tripped a little. So there were some botches here and there from Sheamus. But Sheamus, despite not doing he didn't do the chops on the rope this week, but he did do his other big moves, especially the bro kick, as Swagger would run into a big bro kick following beating up Sheamus out in the ringside area, getting the pin and the win. But that broke Sheamus getting the victory. But he was limping out because he was put in the Patriot lock and beat up by Swagger. So who knows? Maybe Swagger maybe inserted in to the semifinals if Sheamus ain't able to make it. If the leg injury is legit or not, I don't know. But if Sheamus is too hurt to wrestle, maybe we could see a Cesaro Swagger fighter off the wall. If Swagger gets inserted, since Sheamus may be injured out of this matchup. So these are the matchup, but the best match my favorite match in this first round would come up next. The winner of the match between Cesaro and Swagger was Sheamus winning that match. Should I say Sheamus and Swagger? Sheamus won that match. You take on the winner of probably my favorite match in the first round. Baron Barrett taking on Dolph Ziggler. Before we found out who won that match, we got Damian Sandow. God. Ever since he lost the Money in the Bank briefcase and cashed it in and lost it to Cena, his career has been going down the drain. He's been going downhill. He deserves a push. He is the most deserving guy. Well, he did not deserve to get his butt whipped by the Big Show. Kind of. Well, it wasn't really a match. It was like a segment. Because Big Show came out because Sandow was like, I'm the most deserving guy. And I kind of knew what they were building up towards, which I kind of knew. Like, that Sandow was going to talk, and then Big Show was going to knock him the fuck out with the weapon of Master's Touch. Which is exactly what happened. So I'm glad he didn't get pinned by the Big Show, but still. I would love to see Sandow be pushed again. And he's regained momentum. Ever since he lost the briefcase, and I think he should have been a world champion, and he probably will be a world champion one day, but now he's treading water right now, getting his ass beat by people. So I would love to see Sandow get back up in the title hunt. Now on with our next little segment involving Bray Wyatt, who has the whole world in his hand. We got, like, WrestleMania, of course, the post-Mania Raw is always the best Raw, because a lot of these chants are born. The Yes chant was born on the Raw after Mania 2012. The Fandango was born in the Raw after Mania last year. And this year, he's got the whole world in his hands chant was born from Bray Wyatt last week. So Bray Wyatt came out, and I love Bray Wyatt's promos. He's probably one of the best promo guys around right now. Since Punk's gone, Bray Wyatt's kind of filled that void for epic promo giver. As he would once again talk about John Cena trying to push him off to the dark side. But tonight, he wants to do something fun. And then he'll bring out the man who is faster than Rey Mysterio, more powerful than the Big Show, able to bury careers and end punches in a single bound. Super Cena. John Cena. Probably the smartest thing John Cena ever said, because I love this promo from Cena night. I love the first thing he said, because Bray Wyatt's like, I'm going to give you a push, John. And John Cena said the smartest thing I've ever heard him say. That finally kind of qualmed me about making fun of Cena's ego about him getting over people. I don't need another push. Yes! Yes! In other words, Cena doesn't want another title win. Yay! Finally, Cena wants to step the fuck aside. But he still beat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. But still, it's the smartest thing Cena's ever said. I don't need another push. Yay. I've always made fun of Cena's ego about him not getting over people. But to hear him say, I don't need another push, or in other words, I'm going to finally give other people a chance to be fucking champion for once, and let me feud with mid-carders for a while. I applaud Cena for that. But anyway, he would try to be funny by having these fake family photos of the Wyatts as they kind of superimposed Bray Wyatt as a woman as the so-called Sister Abigail. And then they would have the mama, Bobby Joe, with Harper superimposed as a woman, and a woman being superimposed as a baby by Chastity Wyatt. And I mentioned earlier that two matches are like semi-official, that are like official for Extreme Rules. Being the Intercontinental Championship match, Biggie against the winner of the number one contenders tournament, and now this match is official. John Cena against Bray Wyatt. Now I heard over the weekend this match was going to be official soon, Wyatt and Cena in a rematch for Mania. But since it's the pay-per-view, of course, Extreme Rules, of course, happening on May 4th, I was kind of thinking that there would be an Extreme Rules match. Because Extreme Rules matches has Extreme Rules pay-per-view has stipulations. But instead of being an Extreme Rules match, it's going to be a steel cage match between Cena and Wyatt to make sure no interference goes down between the other members of the Wyatts. Very, very interesting steel cage match. The Mania match was okay. But we'll see what goes down between Cena and Wyatt and Extreme Rules going into the steel cage. Now, we'll on with our next matchup involving a mixed tag involving Emma and Santino, who are going to take on Fandango, because Fandango was fuming over his loss last week in his mixed tag match against Santino and Emma when he teamed up with Summer Rae. Because Summer Rae got the losing pin from Emma, and now they broke up. Summer Rae and Fandango are done. Last week they said it on the internet that they were done now. Layla tried to get a new character development. She's been floundering around. She's been back. Now she's apparently Fandango's new dance partner, and in this case, his new tag team partner in this mixed tag affair, trying to avenge his loss against Santino and Emma last week. Kind of a weird, silly, short match though. As Santino came out early, tried to nail the Cobra early. But of course, Layla was tagging, forcing Emma to get in, trying to deliver the dilemma. Whereas Emma was going for a big move up the top rope. Fandango kind of distracted Emma for a second, but Santino would take care of Fandango. But Emma was still at the top rope, and Layla pushed her off, landed hard on the mat, and the 1-2-3 victory for Layla. For a little distraction, Emma got distracted by Santino, knocked off by Layla, and the victory, like I said, for Layla in her first mixed tag affair with Fandango. Now back to Extreme Rules for a minute. We got 2 matches official for Extreme Rules. I say we may have 3 more matches that maybe make official soon. I predict that we may have a match between AJ and Paige for the Divas Championship, a rematch. And I also predict Daniel Bryan will defend the WWE Heavyweight Championship. I thought he was going to defend against Triple H, Orton, and Batista in a 3-on-1, or in this case a fatal 4-way match. But I think stemming from what Derek McMahon said to a certain corporate director of operations, I think Daniel Bryan will defend the championship at Extreme Rules against Kane. Not corporate Kane, not director of operations Kane, the big red monster Kane. Because Stephanie was like, because remember last year when Orton lost to Daniel Bryan at Night of Champions, which deemed the title vacant, and Orton was not his Viper self. Stephanie brought up the Viper back in Orton, and I think Stephanie tonight, being upset with Kane's performance lately as director of operations, kind of spurred the monster back out of Kane. Kane was like, you want the monster? he pulled out the mask that was in the case. And I think he's going to put the mask back on and be the Big Red Monster Kane. We saw a promo about Kane and his viciousness in the past. So I think the Big Red Monster Kane will take on D-Bry for the championship at Extreme Rules. Because Stephanie's like, destroy Daniel Bryan. So I think that match may happen. D-Bry and Kane. Like I said, not corporate Kane. Not Director of Operations Kane. The Devil's favorite demon Kane. The Big Red Monster Kane. The Masked Kane. So there you go. Now it goes back to our Intercontinental Championship tournament. We got one semifinal set. Like I said, it'll be Cesaro taking on Rob Van Dam. We have the other semifinal, half of the other semifinal set, with Sheamus, as of this moment, taking on the winner of our next matchup, Bad Barrett against Dolph Ziggler. Probably my best match, my favorite match in the quarterfinals, the first round of this tournament. Very great match between these two guys. You know, the match started out pretty okay, but of course these two delivered in the later half of the matches. Some great moves. Some best spots was Dolph Ziggler was fighting Fandango off the top rope. He did it looked like a famous off the top rope, but a big move off the top rope from Ziggler. That was pretty awesome. And both guys did all their big moves. Ziggler did the famous serve, and of course Barrett could counter that. And Barrett even delivered his two big moves, the Winds of Change and the Wasteland. I thought that was it, but then Ziggler kicked out. And that was like the best half of the match, when both these guys were just beating the crap out of each other because they knew what was on the line. A semifinal spot to get a championship match. A shot against Biggie Langston. I mean, Biggie. It would have been interesting to see Dolph Ziggler win it in advance to the tournament, maybe. And maybe get a shot against Biggie, even though I kind of predicted Cesaro would win. But if Ziggler could make it, Ziggler would be my other pick. But unfortunately, Ziggler would not advance, as he was trying to do a little big move. Of course, the third other, because like I said, Barrett did his two big moves, or should I say, two out of his three best moves, the Wasteland and the Winds of Change, and Ziggler kicked out of both. But I knew that Barrett was going to set up for his third big finisher, the Bull Hammer Elbow. With exactly what he did, as Ziggler was thwarting the first attempt at Bull Hammer with a roll-up and going for a big move, but he tripped up and ate the elbow in the second attempt in the 1-2-3 victory for Bad News Barrett, as he will advance to take on Sheamus if he'll be able to make it in the semifinals. So, my prediction for the final, I predicted that Cesaro will win the tournament. When it comes to who I think Cesaro will face, I think Sheamus. It'll be Cesaro and Sheamus. Heel against face. That's my prediction. So Cesaro will defeat RVD next week. That's my prediction, because semifinals are next week. So prediction, Cesaro will defeat Rob Van Dam. In prediction, Sheamus will defeat Wade Barrett if he's able to wrestle. If Sheamus is not able to wrestle next week, and I hope Swagger replaces Sheamus. If that happens, Swagger, Ziggler final. Swagger, Cesaro final. So there you go. The semifinals are set. We'll see who wins next week and advances to the finals. But I think my prediction, like I said, is Cesaro. In the next match, main event, The Shield. I thought it was going to be a 6-man tag. And like I said, their opponents were more than 3. Make that 11 on 3. Of course, Triple H is still fuming after what The Shield did last week, attacked Triple H, throwing him a beating the World Heavyweight Championship holder. So Shield would take on the Job Squad. I mean 3MB. I kind of have a sneaky feeling it's going to be 3MB. But then it'll be other men. Alberto Del Rio, Jack Swagger, Fandango, Titus O'Neil, Wyatt Maxwell, Bad News Barrett, and Rusev. Now, everybody wrestled on Raw tonight in this 11-man team besides 3MB and Titus O'Neil. Of course, Bad News Barrett just wrestled against Wade Barrett. Wrestled against Dolph Ziggler. So it's kind of like a clusterfuck. But it was the ultimate build-up for what was going to be one of my favorite endings on Raw in a while. And I love the Shield though, but it's the build-up for another match I'm predicting for Extreme Rules. Before we get to that, Shield would try to outrun the numbers. and take care of the 11-on-1 situation, or the 11-on-3 situation. Of course, a lot of guys tagged in. Of course, Rusev had a little place to shine in, and Titus O'Neil too. And Titus O'Neil would be like the sacrificial lamb, as everybody got into a fight on the floor after Rollins took care of people. It ended up being a no contest. That's all. I knew that fight was going to break down, like all 11 men against the Shield. All 14 men, should I say, was going to get into a brawl on the floor. That is exactly what happened. The Shield tried to follow up with a great flying move from Rollins, and of course, big Superman punch to one of the guys from Mr. Reigns, of course. But then all 3 men would be annihilated by the 11 men. The numbers game was not in the Shield's favor tonight, as all 11 men were finished beating the crap out of the team known as the Shield. The dirty work was done, as the music would play of Line in the Sand. Yep, they're back. Evolution reunion. Now, it's the first, I'm trying to think. This is the first time in 10 years that the core 3 guys in Evolution, that's Triple H, Batista, and Orton, would team up together on the same fucking page. Of course, Ric Flair is not involved in this reunion of sorts, but nice to see these 3 guys together again, because usually Triple H team up with Batista and Triple H and Orton, but it's probably may have been probably 10 years. Like I said, that you haven't seen all 3 guys, Batista, Orton, and Triple H together on the same page. So after the 11 men did their dirty work, Evolution would pick up the scraps and annihilate the Shield when they were already helpless, adding on to the punishment. But of course, Batista bombs, RKOs, and pedigrees galore. Oh my. And they all say, well, you say believe in the Shield. Believe in Evolution. So, my prediction here, since I think that I thought D-Brown was going to defend the championship at Extreme Rules against Triple H, Orton, and Batista, since now I'm predicting that Daniel Bryan will defend the championship against Kane at Extreme Rules, I predict the Shield will be in a 6-man tag against Evolution. I'm hearing rumors about War Games. I would love to see War Games in WWE. That would be excellent. Too bad it's not TV 14 anymore. Anyway, so Evolution's back. You know, like the seeds were planted last week, and I was thinking they were like we kind of saw the beginnings of the Evolution reunion last week when Orton and Batista beat the crap out of Diva to help Triple H win the one title, the WWE Heavyweight Championship, till the Shield got involved. So the seeds were planted last week, but the reunion became official tonight, as Evolution would dominate the Shield at the end of War, with Evolution standing tall, ending War. Of course, Levi, off on his honeymoon, not able to help him. So there we go. 5 matches I'm thinking for Extreme Rules may have been made tonight. 2 matches made for Extreme Rules. 3 matches I think could be made. 2 matches that are official for Extreme Rules. John Cena against Bray Wyatt Steel Cage. IC Championship match. Big E against the winner of this #1 contender tournament. 3 matches I think which may be official in the next couple days and weeks. Shield against Evolution. 6-man tag. AJ Page for the Divas Championship. And also predicting Daniel Bryan and Kane for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. That's the 3 matches I'm predicting are going to be named for Extreme Rules. Too bad there was no, like I said, tonight was a Warrior tribute. They should have done more with it. But it's more about storyline development as the World to Extreme Rules officially began tonight. That is it for the War Review, my War Review for this evening. Thank you all very much for watching. With that in mind, you've been attacked by the news. Or should I say the review from Zach. Thank you again for watching. Have a great night, everybody. See you later. Yeah. Or should I say yes?